follow-up question on this. Our Next Star poll shows 51% of Pennsylvania voters disapprove of the president's job performance. You have publicly supported many of his policy positions. Are there any that you disagree with? 30 seconds.
And it all went downhill from there. We now know why John Fetterman didn't want to debate Dr. Oz. In fact, we're going to see how the whole nation now knows precisely why the Democrats didn't want him anywhere near that debate stage. We're going to see highlights from the debate. We're going to look at the brutal assessments of pundits around the country. And stick me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal what the fallout from last night's debate really is.
Hi, good night, everybody. No, here's what I think we have to fight about inflation here right now. That's what we need to fight about, inflation. And I believe that, again, my doctors, the real doctors that I believe in, they all believe that I'm ready to be served. That's it. He got his Pennsylvania house from his own inlays from a dollar.
Mr.
Oh, I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I stand and I do support fracking.
Okay.
Now, we all have to make sure that everyone that works is able to, that's the most American bargain, that if you work full-time, you should be able to live in dignity as well. True. That's what I believe. I don't ever recall in the Statue of Liberty did they say, take our tired, huddled masses and put them on a bus. There, everybody in Braddock, an overwhelmingly majority community of black community, all understood what happened. They understood what happened, and everybody agreed that. And whether it was a $50 tax break, about his farm in Montgomery County. So it's about supporting and helping, young earners. Excuse me, young students.
How exactly, Mr. Fetterman, do you propose doing that to make it more affordable for families?
No, I just making it that much more, it costs too much, and I believe providing the resources to reduce the tuition to allow families to be able to afford it.
Good night, everybody. Good night. That's how Fetterman started the debate, which of course is so symbolic because he was about to embark on that event that would decisively end his campaign. My favorite in that cringeworthy montage has to be his answer on fracking. Because Democrats want to end fracking. They're going to force him to. And he's been all over the place on the issue. And I kid you not, the transcript of his answer reads, I support fracking, and I don't. I support fracking, and I stand, and I do support fracking. You know who that reminds me of?
But resist we much. We must, and we will much about that be committed.
That's right. The good old Reverend Owl Sharpton in his famous Resist We Much speech. Now we've got a competitor. I support fracking and I don't. I support fracking and I stand. Gang, you just have to let this hit you, gang. What you just saw is a Democratic candidate for the U.S. Senate. That's the guy who's going to be casting votes that directly affect our lives. And then, as if this disaster couldn't get any worse, they had their closing statements. And, well, take a look.
Mr. Fetterman, you are first. 90 seconds.
Once again, I would just like to say that my campaign is all about fighting for anyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that had to get back up again. I'm also fighting for any forgotten community all across Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that had to be made to get back up. I've made my entire career dedicating to those kinds of pursuits. I started as a GED instructor back in Braddock over 20 years ago because I believe it's about serving Pennsylvania, not about using Pennsylvania for their own end interests as well. To me, careers are revealed by your real underlying values. And my values have always been about fighting for forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fetterman.
Again, the amount of verbs that were slaughtered in less than 60 seconds in a closing statement that basically said only one thing: I'm for the person who got knocked down and had to get back up. It's just so sad. Mike Cernovich tweeted out, a literal sick patient or a doctor. The storyline of our time. And it's true, you know. I mean, look at who's in the White House. Look at Fetterman. You look at every single Democrat-dominated inner city. And what do you see? Sickness, decline, degeneration, deterioration. Election Wizard said it brilliantly. John Fetterman needs to be treated by Dr. Oz, not run against him. Yeah, most especially after that beatdown he got last night. WPXI, which is a local Pittsburgh news station, did an online poll after the debate where they asked, so who won the Pennsylvania Senate debate? Oz won 82-18. I have got to meet those 18% who thought Fetterman won the debate. They've got to look like they come straight out of the barroom scene in Star Wars. They have to be the most messed up, mentally twisted people on the planet. But, I mean, in fairness, to be frank, I think we're safe in assuming that even the majority of those 18% actually believed that Fetterman got crushed last night. They're just, you know, they're flying the flag, as it were. They're the Democrat jackass flag there. If you could believe it, Chris Cuomo is back on a 2-bit independent news station, and he was interviewing a panel of independents after the debate, and here's a sample of what they had to say.
Definitely, I'm an independent, by the way. I was definitely leaning towards Fetterman, and I think I have totally changed to the Oz side.
Why?
I felt that Fetterman just looked like he didn't have command of the facts. I do think his condition, unfortunately, is going to affect his ability to do the job. I thought Oz was pretty clear on the issues, and I thought he presented himself well and definitely threw out some plans where I didn't see any plans coming out of Fetterman.
Yeah, so as you can see, I mean, this is the pattern that we've been seeing now for the last 2 weeks. Independents are overwhelmingly breaking towards Republicans. And we've been telling you that this is going to be happening for months now, right? Just be patient, stop listening to the lamestream media, and you're going to be absolutely blown away by the result. And you know, gang, that's exactly why I am so excited to gift each and every one of you with resources that'll help you stay informed with real news as we approach the midterms. Make sure to click on that link in my description box below, because I have the most incredible free gift ever for you, a free guide that will dive deeper on how to stay up to date with my go-to news sources that will become your antidote to fake news this season. I've compiled several of my simple blueprints that'll help you destroy liberal culture in your daily life, and they're yours absolutely free. My gift to you, simply by clicking on that link below or going to drsteveblueprints.com. Even Piers Morgan came to the fore, tweeting out that Pennsylvania Senate debate was painful to watch. I feel very sorry for John Fetterman that he suffered a stroke, but it's cruel of his team to expose him to such ridicule when he's clearly unfit to either take part in TV debates or be a fully functional senator. He should withdraw. Again, Election Wizard and many others agree the right and honorable thing would be for the Democrats to call on Fetterman to bow out since he's clearly mentally unfit to serve. But then again, the terms right and honorable don't generally make it into the same sentence with Democrat. It's beyond cruel what they're doing, this fellow, and that includes his family, by the way, who are subjecting him to all of this in the name of the Democrats gaining power. It's nothing short of obscene. But some have pointed out that Fetterman's willingness to debate throws into relief the shamelessness of other candidates who, as far as we can see, still have a relative command of their cognitive faculties. Will Chamberlain tweeted out, John Fetterman has brain damage and still agreed to debate. What's Katie Hobbs' excuse? Referring, of course, to the Arizona gubernatorial race with Kari Lake. And Josh Shapiro as well in Pennsylvania. Jack Posobiec called him out. But unfortunately, to no avail. Josh Shapiro has made a deal with Rhino Slimeballs in Pennsylvania to become governor. That's why no Republican in the Republican establishment in Pennsylvania is pressuring Shapiro to debate Doug Mastriano. It's utterly sickening what the RGA, the Republican Governors Association, has done to Mastriano. They have refused to send him a dime to run TV ads. They're funding, as I understand it, they're actually funding a gubernatorial candidate in freaking Connecticut, deep blue Connecticut. The RGA is funding the campaign of a guy who's down 15 points to the incumbent Democrat, but they won't send a dime to Mastriano. It's utterly insane. These establishment Republicans are snakes. In fact, sorry, that's an insult to snakes. But regardless, it's all to no avail. Even Mastriano is surging right along with Dr. Oz. In many respects, this debate last night really symbolized what the Democratic Party has become. It's a party that actually doesn't care about competence as much as it cares about control. The question is not, what are the capabilities and competencies of the potential candidate? Instead, Democrats ask, to what extent are we going to be able to control and command this candidate to vote the way we Democrat elites want? That is now the clear ethos of the Democratic Party. They don't care about your competency. They care only about your fidelity to the sick wokeness that has infected the whole of the party's leadership. Now, ironically, scholars argue that this prioritizing of control over competence is precisely what brought the Soviet Union down. Its leadership became overwhelmed with ideologues who were frankly horrible at their jobs, and eventually the system collapsed. That's exactly what we're seeing happening with the Democrats. Fetterman and Biden are in the end just symbols. They're symbols of a party that vets candidates for their woke fidelity, not their competencies. And now, as of last night, everyone is seeing that. And inevitably, they will eventually reject it. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video on Ted Cruz humiliating the ladies at The View, all as their studio audience explodes. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.